This baddie came out like flipping 2 years ago at this point in 2022, and we're going to talk about why it is the biggest wasted potential of a game Nintendo has ever done in their entire lives. And honestly, 2 years, it feels like this game came out yesterday and I was super excited for it, so let's talk about it. So when this game came out, initially I was so excited, and that's because I was in love with Wii Sports. I played it all the time, like genuinely almost every day, and I had so much fun doing it. My friends would come over, my family would play it all the time together. It's just a game that really was easy to pick up and play with just about anyone, and so naturally I thought it would be a similar thing with Nintendo Switch Sports over here, but it wasn't. Like I said, I grew up with the Wii, and of course Wii Sports was that iconic game from my childhood, so coming back here was pretty exciting. And immediately I did notice a few things. The game seemed to lack a little bit of personality that made the Wii game so special, and then the sports buddies were just not what I was vibing with. Here's the thing, the sports buddies aren't that bad, I guess, but why? Why did they move away from Mii's? Why do we need the sports buddies? What do they offer? Very little, in my opinion. They take all of the personality of the Mii's and corporatify it and look just like Xbox avatars. I get maybe they wanted to move away from the Wii's because they don't want to be always associated with them, right? Because the Wii's could be sort of a thing that's specifically for the Wii. There's a lot of Mii's and Wii's over here. But the Mii's could be a thing that was meant to be specifically for the Wii, so maybe that's why they didn't want to have them cross over necessarily onto the Nintendo Switch. But then why would you give us things like Miitopia? Why would you give us things like in Mario Kart still being able to play as your Mii, and in Smash Bros still being able to play as your Mii? So it's like the things that they incorporate them in, it's like, why do that if you want to start moving away from them? Granted, I don't even think they should move away from them. I think it's totally fine to basically have these characters be your avatar for Nintendo. Nintendo has a very good avatar creator thing that you can do, and I feel like just taking it away at this point isn't going to do much, because it's more so associated with Nintendo at this point than just the Wii itself. But I guess that's just my opinion there. And then I know that you can use your Wii's in this game, but it does really feel like an afterthought. They're all proportioned the same as the sports buddies, and it's just not the same as the fun little floating appendages that were on the Wii games. But that's just all the surface level stuff, so let's get into the game itself. I'm going to interject real quick to tell you guys about our sponsor, Aura. Stick around to hear all the crazy shit that they can do and help you out to not get scammed on the internet. So I get spam calls and emails all the time, and it's honestly really violating. I often wonder how in the world these people are just finding out information about me. One time I got an email that was obviously fake from someone pretending to be NordVPN. They sent me an invoice for $500, and as a college student, I panicked because I didn't know if it was real or not, and I definitely don't have $500 to just throw away on a VPN I don't pay for. After a call with the bank, we did find out that it was just a straight up scam and something that I definitely shouldn't worry about, but it really frustrated me that I spent so much time worrying about something that was a blatant lie. I still get emails like this occasionally, and I have gotten a bit better at figuring out which ones are real and which ones aren't, but it was annoying to have to waste so much time and stress and energy figuring out that I was just being scammed by someone. It's crazy to think how much of our personal information is out there for scammers and spammers to exploit. I don't know if you saw this, but AT&T revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released on the dark web. They recommended that those affected use strong passwords, they monitor their account activity, and consider credit freezes or fraud alerts from credit bureaus. And that's where Aura comes in. Aura is the sponsor of today's video, and it does all of this for me. And best of all, it's all in one single app. Aura is always on and doing the hard work of keeping my identity and identification and personal information completely safe on the internet. I want to keep my personal data as safe as possible, and I'm sure you do too, so make sure you go to aura.com/JosieWoah, or you can click on the link in the description below, whichever one's easier for you, and keep all your information safe and off the scary ass dark web. Thank you so much, Aura, for sponsoring this video. You guys check out that link, you get a freaking free trial, so there's no risk involved. You might as well just send it. Click on the little link, it helps me out a lot. Thank you so much, Aura, for sponsoring the video, and let's get back into me bitching about Nintendo Switch Sports, I think. The game just had a dumb launch. I'll just say it. The month before, they put out Mario Strikers, and while I didn't hate that game as much as a lot of people did, I don't think it's amazing. And then, why two sports games back to back? Why did we have Mario Strikers and then this game come out right next to each other? It just feels like bad planning. But then, I guess if we're talking about the sports, we have volleyball, tennis, badminton, Chambara, bowling, and soccer. and then later on golf. And while I do fuck with volleyball because I was a player of that for many, many years and then in college and all that shit, I do understand the criticism of just how many net sports we have. I mean, 3 out of 6 are entirely court sports, and badminton and tennis are roughly the exact same. And I do like badminton, but I think it should be more of a side mode in the normal tennis mode than its own sort of sport itself. Imagine if you could just go and you select tennis and then there's an option to also select badminton, like in the corner or something, because they're basically the same. And if we're going that route, throw pickleball in there. That'd be cool. I'm kind of a pickleball homie myself, and occasionally, not all the time. But yeah, I definitely understand that criticism that there's too many court sports that have a net, and we needed greater variety here because we honestly just didn't get that in a lot of ways. But let's get into the specifics here. 1, volleyball is pretty good, and not many games capture the movement of that sport as well as this did, and honestly I was pretty pleasantly surprised. It's accurate, and the motion tracking is really great, and then you can go down the line, you can go cross court, you can throw a cheeky little tip in there, and then the blocking is really good too, and in terms of execution for volleyball, I think you get 9 woes out of 10. It's not bad, and it's honestly pretty good. Like, for a volleyball game, I think it's one of the best volleyball renditions in a video game we've ever gotten. Moving on to badminton, and oh boy. Okay, so I do like this one, but it's really simple. You hit the birdie back and forth, and you can go corner to corner, and then you throw in a little drop shot. And that's about it. And the sport itself is pretty simple. But yeah, it's definitely not a standout, but as a side mode in tennis, it would have killed it. So, 7 woes out of 10. And then tennis is about as good as it could possibly be. Wii Tennis was obviously iconic, and while again it just has a lot less personality, I do think it's pretty amazing still. It feels a lot better to play, and then obviously you can do the thing where you control both players, or then you could, play it with like a partner, and that's pretty fun. It's really simple, but I think it does exactly what it's needed, just with a little bit less charm, because you're not like these floating little arms out here just swinging a tennis racket back and forth. They really, for some reason, forgoed all of the charm. However, the game is super fun to play still, and I really enjoy it, and I think it's a lot of nostalgia talking, but I'm going to give it 10 woes out of 10. Chambara. This one is actually executed pretty well, but with one major flaw. Getting the bad out of the way, the fact that the only option is to do best 2 out of 3 is super dumb, especially for how short a lot of these matches are. However, the sport itself is pretty fire. You have a couple different options for swords. You can either use the twin swords, the charge shot, the charge sword thing, or the basic one, and all of them play pretty differently, but they're all also pretty well balanced, and I liked playing and trying out most of them. 9 woes out of 10. Soccer is the one that did kind of suck, so it was a great idea because basically it plays just like Rocket League but with a Breath of the Wild stamina wheel, but it's just too complicated. You really just can't pick up and play that one, and that's a huge problem. Now there is the option to use a leg strap here, which is genuinely really cool, and I liked that a lot. And then they gave it a fun little mini game with the goal kicking, so I appreciated that quite a bit as well, but it is just too complicated. However, if we consider the mini game and that they really did their best here, I'm going to give it 8 woes out of 10. I'm still fucking itchy. Bowling is just a classic. Bowling has a couple of fun different modes, and there's that 99 pin challenge that was in the Wii Sports training mode, and now you can do that online, which is cool. You can also have a shit ton of players, and then you can all take your turns at the same time, or you can just, so you're not waiting forever, but you can also do the other way, and it's pretty cool. It's nothing super new, but similar to tennis, it really didn't need to be. My biggest issue, though, is you can't throw the ball behind you. In Wii, when you let go of the B button too early and it, fling it back and hit the Mii's behind you, that's not here. So because of that, 6 woes out of 10. Do better, Nintendo. Oh, and then, of course, 7 months later, they added golf, and it's fine. It's golf. It's a little bit better, and there's, different modes and stuff, sort of, too, which is cool. But why put it out 7 months later? Why make it so half-baked if you're going to do that? You know what I mean? It was just kind of a weird little situation. 7 months to put in golf, and it's not even fucking amazing. 5 woes out of 10. So from this, you can obviously tell I do kind of like this game. It's definitely not bad, but at the end of the day, there's just so much more that could have been done. There's no fun announcer like in the Wii Sports ones. They're not quirky little funny animations or weird things that you can do to make you and the homies laugh, and there's just not any personality. It feels corporate in a way. You just took Wii Sports and washed it of all of its charm. There was also this really cool thing in Wii Sports where you basically had a tier of iconic base Mii's like Matt, and for some reason Matt was always the final boss in almost every single game, and just the fact that the small things like that aren't in here is really disheartening. There's also no training mode, which is just a lot of fun as it is, and that is just a pain in the butt, because like the training mode I think is where you have so much fun with Wii Sports. If you're getting serious, if you want to get so good at tennis, they have all these different little training things that you can do, but that's just not in this game, and it's really annoying to me. I wish it was. It's upsetting. And while we're here, let's talk about the two sports that are missing: baseball and boxing. Why the hell do you take the two most fun sports out of Wii Sports and you stick us with golf? You took 7 months to put out golf, and you just forgot about boxing and baseball. Baseball is so funny. The way it just pulled from any me out there. You could have made your great grandma. I had my great grandma and my great grandpa on my Wii, and it would just pull them into these games and throw them in there. You don't have to be playing as them, and that is that charm. You know, honestly, I feel like if they put baseball in this game, you would have pulled random sports buddies and gotten no personality out of that, and that is what's so upsetting. I don't understand what the purpose of this whole sports buddy thing is, and I know it's annoying that I'm always leading back to it, but the sports buddies take half of the charm away from all the fun and the goofy moments you have in the Wii game. Boxing is probably my favorite game from Wii Sports. I think it is so much fun. It's so just well done in every way. The motion tracking on the Wii is actually pretty good. You can dip and dodge and duck. For some reason I can't talk. You can do all the boxing movements. It tracks your body pretty well. It's just really a lot of fun, and I don't understand why we didn't put it in there. I'm thinking, maybe it's too violent for the kiddos out there, but these guys are playing Call of Duty. Give us something cool. Let me box Logan Paul as a me. Let me box MVG online. Imagine the next Boomer versus Zoomer. We're just boxing. That'd be awesome. But here we are not doing any of that, and it's a little bit annoying to me. I just think there's ways to do it that would have made it so much cooler, and it's just weird that for this trying to be like the ultimate, Wii Sports and I guess it doesn't brand itself like that, but Nintendo Switch Sports should be the ultimate Wii Sports. It should have all of Wii Sports games, unless they sucked, which baseball and boxing did not suck. None of the Wii Sports sucked. Maybe you don't have to put all the Wii Sports Resort stuff, but it should have all of the base shit. Baseball was so much fun. You're out. Home run. Blah, blah, blah. And maybe they didn't do that because the announcer here is non-existent and it's so vanilla. All of that personality that made Wii Sports what it is not in this game. And that's where the wasted potential is. Why? Why can we not have a fun little announcer guy in here? What is wrong with that? I don't know. There's something so iconic about Wii Sports, from the music to the announcer to the sports that were chosen, and I think just the fact that they tried to follow it up, it did really fucking well. It's probably sold around 10 million at this point, maybe more, but they still just didn't go all in. That's a huge issue with Nintendo this whole Switch era of sports games specifically. Every other game they seem to go all out. Kirby finally got a 3D game, Mario Odyssey was amazing, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, all that stuff. They're going all out for those franchises. But when it comes to the sports games, they leave them half-baked and they leave you wanting more. They know these games are going to sell so well already that they feel no need to really just crank out a solid product. And right now, this feels like a half-baked product with no personality. If this was the ultimate Wii Sports thing with zero personality, I think I'd be a bit more forgiving. We had all the sports. We had a bunch of sports from Wii Sports Resort, and then we have the added Nintendo Switch Sports. Sure. But at the end of the day, it's like I've talked to so many people who just regret buying this. Why? They regret buying this because it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have that charm. It's not fun like how Wii Sports was, and I wish every fucking day that it was. It's not a bad game. It does have a cool thing where you can sort of like come back time over time and keep unlocking stuff. It's sort of like a battle pass, but it's free, so I think that gives you incentive to keep playing and to start playing online. But I think it's just the fact that it's not a game that I actively want to go back to, and that's a shame, because I find myself actively wanting to go back to play Wii Sports, and when I think about, there's a Switch game that'd be easier to boot up, easier to play than plugging in my Wii again, it's always worth it to me to go back to that original Wii game because Switch Sports does not feel the same. And I think that's what they need to start capturing, is that feeling that we all get when we play Wii Sports. I'm not saying Wii Sports is the most perfect of games, but for what it is, Wii Sports nails everything about it. And if you're trying to capitalize on the nostalgia of people like me, the nostalgia of my generation, people who grew up with Wii Sports, playing it in their living rooms with their family, people who have, gone back and played Wii Sports over the years because of how fun and pick up and play friendly it is. It's just the fact that this has none of that. It's not very pick up and play friendly, except for the sports that are directly from the Wii. And then other than that, it doesn't have that charm, it doesn't have that excitement, and it doesn't have those fun, goofy moments that really make Wii Sports what it is. It's selling incredibly well, but I think at the end of the day, this could really sour a lot of people on that initial appeal. There's so much demand because, like I just said, the people who grew up with the original are now my age, and they're making their own money, and they're eager to relive those simple days of their childhood. There's shit to put on the next one, and there's improvements to be made. You gotta flesh out this baddie a little bit more and interject that classic Nintendo charm and quirk, and you've got the golden ticket to literally print so much money, Nintendo. Name the next console the Super Switch and package it with Super Switch Sports. And I say that every time I talk about the Switch too, like on my podcast, Game and Talk, check that out, it's a banger. But also, at the end of the day, remember that I do actually like this game, and I don't, hate that they tried it. I'm glad that this might become a franchise now, but you have to make a change in Nintendo. You have to understand the demand here. The demand is to have some goofy ass funny time with the homies. Play as yourself, not the fucking sports buddies, as your me. Play as your me, give us some better sports, and you will have the literal golden ticket, Nintendo. I promise you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like it down below. Subscribe to the channel. Check out this video. It's a banger. It's a vibe. It's a good time. Thank you so much. You guys want to see my tattoo? I just got it done. There's like a wrap over it, but I literally just got it done. I kind of F with it, chat. Okay, goodbye.